Oh, okay. So for physicians, first step is monitoring. First step is making it difficult externally to use without getting caught. So it should involve both frequent audits, like many times during the week, of what your level of sobriety is, and translate that, lots of urine drug screens and breathalyzers. And it involves an awareness of your own of your own accessibility to being audited. In at least one good study, what we have seen is that physicians who were being monitored in a state program felt that the largest contribution to their remaining in recovery was, interestingly, not getting the urine drug screens or the breathalyzers, but having to call in each day in order to find out if their number was up for that day. Okay. Because what ends up happening is, on a daily basis, the physicians who are in a monitoring program, and a good monitoring program, are expected to check in and find out if that's their day. And if that's their day, then they've got to go in. And if they don't go in and get the supervised, monitored breathalyzer and urine drug screen, then they are in violation. That's number one, is the recognition that there's not that much safety in using anymore, and in being monitored, and in participating in it to the degree that the doctor ends up being invested in this process. And I don't just mean paying for the urine drug screens, but having to make the call on a daily basis in order to find out. At some point along the line, they realize it's their recovery.
There was a point at which they allowed me to come to diversion meetings. So I was able to kind of see exactly what it was that they were doing. Yeah. One of the things that they were required to do was sign a contract that stipulated exactly what it was that was expected of them, and what would happen should they follow it, good things, but what would be the immediate consequence should they not follow those elements of that contract.
You've persisted in maintaining that identity of being a physician, and that has enormous power for you in getting well, and it has enormous power for those docs who get engaged in the treatment contract. I mean, we didn't get into this accidentally. And it didn't just fall into taking the MCAT one day, still yet into paying tuition for medical school. And somewhere along the line, it wasn't just a decision to stop building rock walls as a summer job. It was, I'm really going to be a doctor and take care of people and look after them, and it's going to be at significant personal cost, because while my friends are out there buying nice cars and the rest, I'm going to be eating out of vending machines and not getting any sleep and all the rest of that stuff that goes into being a doctor. And you get out and you're sufficiently invested in this that if somebody comes along and says, I'm going to take your profession away from you if you don't do certain things, it's not just, oh, I'm going to have to change jobs. It's, oh, they're going to do a personality-ectomy on me. They're actually going to rip out a part of who I am. And I can't let them do this. So however much I may think they are a bunch of fussy, micromanagerial, directive autocrats, I'll do what they say. And after I've been doing what they say long enough, a year or 2 years, it's not so much a question of becoming brainwashed, it's actually a question of having the scales fall from your eyes. You end up seeing that, wow, I've got a whole future ahead of me, and I'm feeling better than I've ever felt in my life. And there becomes the self-reinforcement component to this. So you're right. The contract monitoring gets right. It gets people to a point where they actually can begin to see and do things for themselves. You know, we're coming up, it's about 50 years now since Vincent Dole and Mari Neisvander initiated the methadone treatment projects in New York. And Vincent Dole's favorite catchphrase was, we keep the addict off the street long enough to get the street out of the addict, okay? Well, it's not all that different for doctors, okay? You get them back into practice and feeling who they were as doctors, but moreover seeing what their future could be and what they feel like biologically, until they actually stop identifying with being an addict anymore.